After more than 1 month of silence, some interesting news has recently emerged regarding 2 of the cast members, as well as the innovative techniques used in the making of Matrix 4. Would you like to know what is new with this movie? Then welcome to Matrix Explained.
Welcome to the desert of the real.
The first bit of news comes from Variety. Journalist Zoe Hewitt shared some time with the Matrix 4's aerial director of photography, Dylan Goss, and he revealed some of the modern camera techniques and tools used in the movie. Quoting from the article, stunt pilot Frederick North has decades of experience working in Hollywood on films like Kong Skull Island, Pacific Rim Uprising, and Justin Lin's latest Fast and the Furious sequel, Fast 9. So I shouldn't be nervous as I climb aboard in mid-February for my first trip on a helicopter with him and aerial director of photography Dylan Goss. North's helicopter is outfitted with a camera housing unit in front that weighs nearly 260 pounds. It allows the aerial DP to use the same type of camera and lens as the ground crew to ensure airborne footage bleeds seamlessly with the look of the production. The unit's value approaches $800,000, depending on the camera package. And it's so heavy that the helicopter would tip over if not for the counterweights below the back cabin and at the end of the tail. While local pilots may adapt at basic flying from point A to point B, North understands how to put the aerial DP in a position to capture the necessary footage through a variety of situations. When I question why the helicopter isn't swapped for a drone, I'm told that device isn't a practical replacement. Drones can't react to obstacles and understand spatial orientation because the person controlling them is so far away. End quote. Although the use of helicopters to take aerial shots is nothing revolutionary, it is interesting to hear the perspective of the aerial director of photography. In videos taken from the set of Matrix 4, we can see this helicopter hovering above the city streets. Even though the Matrix 4 ADP mentions that there are things that drones can't do, we have videos of these pieces of technology on set as well. New creative ways of filmmaking are not uncommon for a Wachowski film. In Matrix Reloaded, the directors used inventive methods to film the movie. Cameras on remote-controlled cars riding underneath moving vehicles, shooting from inside cars, etc.
People on motorcycles being chased by cameramen on motorcycles. I think it's pretty cool.
The Wachowskis decided to shoot from as many angles as possible for the highway chase scene because, according to them, they wanted to use unexpected shots that would benefit editing.
One of the guys, got really happy and took a car for a joyride, came around a curve and saw one of the police cars sitting there stationary, thought it was the real police, and smashed up the car.
There is no doubt that Lana Wachowski is using more than one helicopter and some drones for Matrix 4. Who knows how many cameras she had placed in obscure and unexpected areas to get the perfect shot. And speaking of Lana Wachowski's attention to detail, Jessica Henwick previously spoke about seeing film equipment that she had never seen before being used in Matrix 4. Exciting. In other news, actor Yahya Abdul-Mateen II recently did an interview with The Hollywood Reporter where he talked about The Matrix 4, his co-star Keanu Reeves, and how he felt while filming the movie. And I quote, "On December 22nd, Warner Brothers will bring Lana Wachowski's Matrix 4 to theaters and HBO Max, with Abdul-Mateen starring along original cast Keanu Reeves, Carrie-Anne Moss, and Jada Pinkett Smith. Just as the coronavirus began cutting a deadly path throughout the US in March 2020, Abdul-Mateen finished shooting Matrix 4 scenes in San Francisco and then traveled to Chicago for 2 days of reshoots on Candyman. The day before he was scheduled to fly to Berlin for the bulk of Matrix 4, he got a call that the Warners was shutting down the production. He made it back to his home in New York before the entire country ground to a halt and wound up waiting in the city until June 2020 when Matrix 4 resumed. He brought a cousin with him for the 6-month process that included on-set martial arts training before principal photography. That was my roadhog, he says of his relative. He basically saved my life because I needed the company and friendship, that connection to family. On set, he found himself initially a bit starstruck. I remember Keanu and his first line. I looked up and there was Keanu, and I said, "Oh shit, I'm really in the Matrix," he says. It was just Keanu in that voice. And the technology that Lana incorporated, and the filmmaking, camera rigs that I've never seen before. It's so ambitious. It was really interesting to be making The Matrix 4 at a time when the world was so warped and when reality was so distorted. It could creep in a little bit if you let it. After The Matrix 4 wrapped, Abdul Mateen signed on for the Michael Bay directed thriller Ambulance. End quote. Interestingly, the actor's statements are quite familiar to another interview that took place a few months ago with Jessica Henwick, in which she said something similar, that being in the movie was like a dream come true, and that the camera equipment was something never seen before. But what is the most revealing about this interview is that Abdul mentioned that he had to go through martial arts training, and that he was starstruck to see Keanu reprising his iconic role of Neo. There have been rumors that Abdul Mateen was going to play a young Morpheus, a new agent, or maybe the son of Niobe and Morpheus. The fact that he was on set for so long suggests that his role, whatever it is an important one. And before we go, many of you continue to ask us about the Matrix 4 trailer, and the answer, I'm afraid, remains the same. All we have are rumors, nothing concrete. Now, this does not mean that the film was delayed. We know for a fact that there is a trailer that has been shown to a select group of people. Hopefully the studio is just going through a list of revealed trailers, and Matrix 4 will soon be next. But do you agree? Are you still excited to see Matrix 4? Is it still coming out this year? What is Abdul Mateen's role? For Matrix Explained, please leave a like and subscribe. And thank you for visiting the Desert of the Real.